Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community shares the cultures of two people, the Akimel O'odham River people, Pima, and the Piipaash, people who live toward the water, Maricopa. Ancestors of the Piipaash originally lived along the lower Colorado River on the California-Arizona border. Still, in the 1600s, hostilities with other tribes forced them to relocate north to the Gila River. A group splintered off and traveled east to the Salt River, where they allied with the Akimel O'odham living there. The Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community sovereignty was recognized, and their reservation was federally created in 1879 and bordered the cities of Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, Mesa and Fountain Hills. The tribe maintains 19,000 acres of their 52,000 acres as a nature preserve, protecting the landscape and the wildlife of the upper Sonoran Desert. Kelly Washington, Director of the Cultural Resources for the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community, SRPMIC, discusses the community's ancestral lands along the Gila and Colorado rivers, the impact of Spanish culture, and the tribe's connection to the Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail.
Kamdoom. My name is Kelly Washington. I'm the Director of the Cultural Resources Department for the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community. The community is made up of two distinct tribes, the Pima and Maricopa, or at least that's how most of the world knows us. In our own languages, we call ourselves O'odham and Piipaash. More specifically, we are Akimel O'odham or Akimel O'odham, river people or Salt River people, and also Piipaash, which means upriver people. Well, with regard to the Anza Trail specifically, a lot of these trails that the Spanish and other explorers traveled along, they were trails that the indigenous people already knew of, already created, and we'd use them, for a long time prior to that. The O'odham and Piipaash lived along the Gila River for a really long stretch, from the Tono O'odham, our relatives down south, down to the Mexican border, what's now the Mexican border. And if you follow the rivers up and to our territory, it's still O'odham people. You can follow the Gila River down to Gila Bend to the west, and you're starting to get into more Piipaash territory, but also O'odham. We had overlapping territories. And originally, some Piipaash lived on the Colorado River as well. So, today we're just on these small reserves here in the Phoenix area, but our Aboriginal territory extended well beyond the borders of our current reserves, of course. The Anza Trail is pretty interesting. I'd like people to know more about the history, not really for the sake of necessarily American history. I think it's important to learn things like the Spaniards first coming here, like Kino was the first Spaniard here, and what kind of impact that had on our people, and Anza, and all the other ones that went along with that too. They had significant impacts on our people. Some bad, of course, obviously, but, not all of it was bad either. We voluntarily, borrowed some cultural traits from the Spanish culture, Mexican culture, long before anything was forced on us. There's elements of what we still consider our traditional culture that we voluntarily borrowed from them. Things like a lot of plants, citrus, and things that weren't native here that we adopted and we incorporated into our food systems, wheat being one of them. People will, go down the Gila River, and even though there's not our reservations aren't there currently, they'll know, oh, this is where the O'odham used to live, and this is where Piipaash used to live. And so the Gila River, which the Anza Trail followed, was very significant for providing the waters for our farms, and it's our very identity. Like I said, Akimel O'odham means river people, and Piipaash is upriver people. So just the concept of that river is built into our very identity of who we are. We still have the memory of that. We still have the identity of that. And we want others to know how important that river was and is to us. And we're thankful for what we still have left. And as far as the natural resources and as far as our cultural knowledge and our history that's been handed down. And, some of that we want to share with other people as well.